the financial crisis of 2008 flipped over everything. And at that time, Lawrence School really was in danger of losing the upper school. I had a baptism by fire, cataclysmic leap into leadership. And I think it's changed not just who I am as a leader, but who I am as a person. I had great mentors. I don't think you can do that without people having your back, working with you, your openness to learning from them. We had one example early on in the financial crisis, and the bankers were tough. And they had a right to be tough in the sense that we could not pay, we couldn't service our debt. We had a very complicated lending situation. Briefly, they were like, you can still pay, you're okay. And we were the pressure to the bank saying, no, really, it's not working. We finally made a decision to withhold payment to get their attention because we could see hitting the wall. And we got their attention. And they were decidedly unhappy. So they called a meeting. And it is, at the time, the largest room I'd ever been in. The table you could land a helicopter on. My chair was broken. And so I wasn't going to tell anybody. My feet didn't touch the ground. I was the shortest and the only female in the room. I was wise enough, even as a young board chair, young in years, not in age, to have brought very, very intelligent financial sharp pencil men with me who were on the board or who supported the school. But I sat in my chair with my feet dangling, looking around this huge table. They made us wait for 20 minutes. Then they came in, suits and trench coats. So I thought that was kind of an impressive way to intimidate because they didn't take off their coats. They literally had briefcases, trench coats. They slammed their cases on the table. They sat down in a line, and they said, you're in trouble. And they began to look at the financial package that we had put together, had a plan of where we were, how we thought we could get through, how we could collaborate. They didn't like anything we had to say. They got up all in a group, somewhat impressive, you know. Men aren't usually like ballet dancers in a group with trench coats. And they left the room. That began my being a co-chair for our restructuring committee. The bank did call me shortly after that. They had assessed me as the weak link. They called me in for a meeting, said, you don't need attorneys, you don't need anybody, let's have a nice chat. We sat down, just the two of us, the lead on their side, I was the now lead on ours, and by position as board chair was the lead to them. Again, I'm sure that they thought this is where we'll get what we want. And they sat me down and said, you're going to go bankrupt. And it can be nice or it can be ugly. And in that discussion, and that discussion got heated, and a little bit like Pinocchio's nose, well, maybe that's wrong because I told the truth, but my legs grew and my legs touch the ground now. And I said, they told me that you should never borrow the money, you can't pay it back, and this is your fault. So I said, you're right, we can't pay the money back right now. If you give us time, we can, but you're right. And I said, but I guess it's your fault, along with my fault, because you shouldn't have lent it. I said, so together, we're going to go talk to the Plain Dealer, which is the local newspaper here. And I said, I'm going to get in my suit, and you can wear your trench coat. Had his trench coat on again. I said, and we're going to go down to the paper. And we're going to talk about the fact that I borrowed money for a school for kids with learning differences, and you put the school out of business. And I said, so we're going to do that together. And I said, I'm in. I'm game. At that point was, I think, the first time that they saw me through a different lens. Now, my legs touched the ground, but they were shaking a bit. But I was angry. And they backed up a little bit and said, maybe we can come out to the school. They hadn't even seen the school at this point. They hadn't walked the grounds. They hadn't met the kids. They hadn't done anything. So maybe we can come out, see the school, and we can go from there. So that was really, that moment was the beginning of a relationship. For me, it was the beginning of my knowing that we can do this.